Yo, check it out. This is the Wild Cowboy with a lot of style, boy, the great Sadat X of Brand Nubian. And you're watching The Dribble on Gully TV. That's right, The Dribble on Gully TV with your man, the Wild Cowboy with a lot of style, boy, one of one, the untraceable, no known DNA, punction up to get beat down. Come on, motherfuckers, come on.
If you tune in to me, you know you're watching Gully TV. I got a very special guest this afternoon. This interview, I'm told this interview is going to raise a lot of eyebrows. It's historic and it's never been done before. For a long time, if you're a fan of the Diplomat's music, you often heard in the early recordings, Dipset Taliban reference. You would hear that name often, and this gentleman before me is going to give us insight on the history of the collaboration between the two brands. Please introduce yourself, sir.
What's going on, Gully TV? What's up, y'all? My name is T Money the Icon. I'm from Harlem, and like he said, me and my cousin Luca Brasi, we started that whole Taliban movement on 145th and Broadway. So,
okay,
you know.
First thing I want to ask you is give my viewers some history on the block 45th and Broadway. I always hear this block mentioned on a lot of songs from hip hop artists from Harlem. Tell my viewers the significance of this block and exactly what this block represented.
Okay, so that's not like the block I was born on or came up on or raised on. Mm-hmm. That's a block we started, I would say, like our good business side of things in the beginning. Like, so how we got to 45th and Broadway, again, my cousin Luca, he had a van up there, and we used to sell icebergs, sweaters, the long white tees. We started that whole movement. Yeah. Anybody will tell you, everybody had to come up to 45th and Broadway to get them long, stupid white tees. Yeah. Back then, niggas thought those was fire, but today, if you look at that shit, you be like, yo, that was crazy. Yeah. But we were selling icebergs, sweaters, t-shirts, mixtapes and all that. And that's how we got to 45th. So in the beginning, me, my brother Idi Amin, rest in peace, my cousin Shay Five, and Luca. So we'll be up there all day selling t-shirts and iceberg sweaters. And the funny shit was, we was getting more money selling clothes than selling drugs. Right. You know what I mean? So that kind of like, we kind of phased the drug shit out because we was making, some days we'd be making like 7, 8, 9,000 a day. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, and plus niggas wanted to get out of the game. Now, don't get me fucked up. It was days in the drug game, niggas made way more than that. But to make that type of money legally, yeah, that's what I mean by we making more, because we actually going home to our families at 8 o'clock at night and don't gotta be on the block trapping. Right. So that's how we got to 45th and Broadway.
So in a nutshell, 45th and Broadway was like one of New York City's shopping districts.
No, that's a misconception. It is and it ain't. Okay. So 145th and Broadway is definitely a shopping area, and that'll bring the traction. But that's the underworld. If you know, you know. Yeah. It's a whole lot of everything going on up there, up and down, right, from the east side yeah, to the riverside. Okay. All of that's all day, every day. It's a lot of everything going on. So at the end of the day, that's what made that block crazy, because you gotta look at it, right? There's a whole lot of everything going on. Yeah. Then it's all the shopping. Then you got Copeland's, the restaurant, fire soul food restaurant. Right. And then you got us selling our bootleg shit and all that. Right. We just brought the flavor to the block. Yeah. You know, because it wasn't no niggas on the block. It's niggas that's from that block that go up and down. I'm talking about like literally hanging. It was really just Oyes up there. Yeah. So we was like the niggas. So when all the niggas came to the block to buy whatever they buy clothes or eat, yeah, they running into us.
So when you say Oyes, you're talking about Dominicans?
Dominicans and Puerto Ricans.
Okay.
And I don't mean that as no disrespect, because I'm half Puerto Rican. Right. But that's what we call them. We call them Oyes. Yeah. Oyes on Broadway. So if you know about Broadway, you know the whole Broadway is a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So when y'all took to this block to start merchandising, basically.
Yes.
This block was already active historically.
This block been active for years.
Yeah.
That block is always going to be active.
Right. When did it start to become a really, really big thing? I started to see DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
The DVD guy, it was like the DVD guys at the time would go to this block, and you was almost guaranteed to run into some celebrity presence.
So I could say this, right? Before we got that block popping like that, it was a couple celebrities like Floyd Mayweather. When Floyd Mayweather had the Ferrari iced out chain,
Yeah.
he was coming up there, hanging with us, shooting a really bobo with us, pulling up in Ferraris, spending wild bread, getting out of there.
Right.
The funny thing about that is like I didn't know Floyd was so short. Like, and I told him, I said, you mad short, but he was nice with his hands. This one he was pretty boy Floyd.
Yeah.
So like he used to come up there. Snoop used to come up there. That's how I met my man Big Fave from Insane in LA. Okay. That's my big brother. Shout out to Big Fave. I met Fave through them coming up there, Little Half Dead and all them. Fave actually took us out to Cali. Yeah. We was in Snoop House in Chino and all that. I met Uncle Junebug. I blew a L with Snoop. Right. You get what I'm saying? And that nigga had the gas mask and all that. Yeah. Like that shit with all Tupac and all them niggas drawing and all that on there. Yeah. Like I got up on there. Like I tagged up and all that. And like I said, rest in peace, Cash, Taj Mahal, Little Kiani, all of us. We went out there and we was with Big Favor and we did 3 songs with LT Houghton. Yeah. And like I said, we was hanging with Snoop and them. So
I just wanted to. You kind of like led into your rebuttal led into my next question. Share with us who the original Taliban was.
Okay, so the original Taliban is me, Luca, Edie, Shay 5, Jay Malice, Foe, Kenny Black, Kiani, Skibo Debo, it's a few more. I'm Ant Live. It's a few more, but like you gotta understand something, right? We all got our own blocks in our own areas. So like when we started popping, like let's just say if it's 10 of us I just named, that's 10 of us with 10 different crews. Right. You get what I'm saying? So we had like a subsection of Taliban.
So look, right,
go back into it.
Some of these questions that I'm gonna ask you are based upon conversations I've had with people leading up to this. And I heard so much different shit.
Now we gonna get into it. I ain't gonna hold back.
All right.
One thing I ain't gonna do, Gully,
yeah,
you can put that on camera. You ask me a question, I'm gonna give you the real answer. Yeah. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it unless I gotta protect somebody.
All right, so what you described to me, what I'm extracted from this, is that the Taliban was a group of hustlers and almost trendsetters.
Right, but let me say this, right? The original Taliban is 5 members. Luca, me, Edie, Shay 5, and Kiani. That's it. Okay. Like, I kind of, those is niggas we fuck with and all that, but the original core, the Taliban, and then we all cousins. Okay. So it started, how I was raised, how we was raised, it's family first. Absolutely. Me, my brother, and my cousins, we is the Taliban. Yeah. Everybody else, they Taliban, but they wasn't sitting at the table. At the table was me and Luca, if we're gonna be honest. Right. But then, you know, my brother and my cousin and my other cousin, they original Taliban too.
Was there some type of correlation between the Taliban and the boost phones that came out at the time?
Hell yeah.
I told you I'm not even Tell me listen to me. They came out of nowhere.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this is the thing, right? We started on, you asked me how we started on 145th. Yeah. That's not how we ended. Okay. This is a long ride. Yeah. No homo. So at the end of the day, when we started, we were selling icebergs and all that. Then like the movie I got to hook up.
Yeah.
We got the phones.
Right.
And we sold the whole, I ain't gonna say Harlem, we probably sold the whole East Coast phones.
Yeah.
Everybody was on that line.
Yeah.
The Boost Mobiles and the Nextels.
Yeah.
Man, and we even had two ways. Like yes, that's true.
So people could come to the block, buy the phone, and y'all could plug and put them right online, right up there on the strip?
They was buying the phones with the phones on.
Okay.
So you just, it's like a block.
Yeah.
$500.
And how long was people rocking out with the phone line?
We was guaranteeing at least 2 months.
Yeah.
What made us so fire was that niggas was getting 90 days, 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
Niggas just wasn't getting turned off. This is when that shit started.
Right.
So, like, yeah, we had the block crazy. Like I said, that's just one other venture and all of that.
All right. One after another, I'm gonna fire out these questions based on some insight that I've come across. Explain to me the origin of the word Piff and how it relates to 45th and Broadway.
Okay. Well, Piff is weed.
Okay.
But it's also, it's like fire weed.
All right.
So it could be used as, that's Piff too, like that's fire.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So Piff means the fire weed, but it also means like, yo, that's fire, that's me.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So Little Kiani came up with the word Piff. And he made like a mixtape called The Piff.
Okay.
He had Uncasa, he had J.R. Rod, he had a bunch of the people that was around us on the mixtape. And that word just took off.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we went from that, we even had that purple haze out there.
Yeah.
So we was calling it the Piff. While everybody was saying purple haze, like, nah, we got that Piff. We got that Piff.
All right.
So that's how that started.
How much of a draw did the weed become on 45th? Because I heard that kind of like made the whole shit just, in addition to the clothes, I heard people was coming from everywhere to get the weed. So
Yes.
explain that.
That's how we met. That's how we met Camron and Jim.
All right. Through the Piff. Through the
If we're gonna segue in, we're gonna segue in right.
Yeah. All right.
So with Cam and Jim, just when Cam had the 600 Mercedes, so he was still down with entertainment. So I ain't here to tell Cam's story. He could tell it himself.
Yeah.
But how we met them, they came up and they wasn't smoking that fire at the time.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And they knew that ain't no shot. They came up there looking for the fire.
Yeah.
And so me and Cam played ball as kids. So he didn't know nobody else. So he bought some smoke for them, let's just say Monday.
Yeah.
And they said, oh shit, this shit fire. They come back up Tuesday to get more.
Yeah.
So niggas see me, oh shit, what's up, T-Money, boom, boom, boom. So I'm like, nah, this is my family or whatever. He was like, yo, y'all niggas got fire up here. I'm like, yo, telling Luca, like, yo, that's family right there, whatever. Luca's the type of nigga that he might smoke 10 bags in a session. He roll up 10 blunts,
yeah,
and niggas is smoking them all right there. So he lit up like that for them.
Yeah.
So now we got a session, they up there, and niggas blew their mind. They highest they ever been at the time.
Right.
From that day on, niggas hung out every day. So it just became like that.
So they was coming back through. Weed is a social drug.
They probably didn't even have to buy no more weed. At that time, they just come up there and there's a Friday brains, easy, 5 blunts at a time. So now niggas' cars are just pulling up.
Yeah.
Cam out here, Jim out here,
right.
Boom, boom, boom. And nigga, we met through reefer. Yeah.
Okay.